Hey guys, the Final Four is set, and I have to tell you, I can't say that I saw exactly this coming, but last time I talked to you guys, I told you we had some wildness coming. You always talk about March Madness. You always talk about how crazy it's going to be. This might be the craziest year of all time. I'm going to get into that here real quick. Guys, go check me out, TomBartonSports.com, Tom Barton Sports over on Twitter, Tom Barton Sports. And if you like the channel below, please like, subscribe. I could always use the subscribers. That always helps out a lot as well. Put the bell on for notifications for when I do send out new videos. So let's get into it. Is this the craziest year of all time? You know, I have to say that it is. It's not that in the craziness of the seeding, which is crazy as well. Look, we have 2 5s, a 9, and a 4, right? We have 2 5s, a 9, and a 4 seed. But I think it's also the idea that when we talk about craziness, when you talk about March Madness, more times than not, when you start talking about the craziness of March Madness and the craziness of the Final Four and getting there, there's one team, right? There's the Butler Bulldogs, or there's George Mason making a run. There's St. Peter's making a run. And you remember that year because of that one team, right? That one crazy team. Oh, boy. But it was the first time in forever, to go back to my Disney friends, the first time in forever. But it was the first time in forever that we didn't have a number one as one of the Elite Eight. Now, I think we all sort of saw that coming a little bit. Right? We talked about that it wasn't that unusual. But in the same year that we didn't have a number one, remember, this is the totality of the tournament. It's not just where we are right now. So in the same year that we didn't have a number one making the Elite Eight, in the same year that we certainly won't have a number one going to the Final Four, in that same year, we also saw a 1 against a 16. So there's only been one time that has happened. We know that happened in Virginia. So now this was going to be the tournament that a 1 took down the 16. How about the 2 taking on the 15? And not only that, but Princeton not only winning that round, but winning the next round. Well, the Princeton run, any other year, the 1 against the 16 is the story of the tournament. That's what we're going to remember 10, 50, 20 years from now. You're going to go, oh, 2023, that's 1 against 16. That's now erased. In almost every other year, it's going to be Princeton, the 2 against the 15, going on and continuing to win. Yeah, that would be the story of the tournament. That's almost going to be erased. I mean, we'll remember it, but that's not the story of the tournament. The story of the tournament that it used to be the 1 against the 16 or the 2 against the 15 and the run that was by Princeton, that's now been supplanted by, oh my goodness, what has happened since then? This could have been the tournament that we talked about. No number one teams making the Elite Eight. And that'll go in the record books. We'll remember that. But no. This tournament now is going to be about these Final Four teams. Whoever comes out on top, they steal all the tournament, and rightfully so. But they steal the tournament buzz. This is the tournament buzz. And we're going to talk about this tonight if you guys want to listen to Fox Sports Las Vegas, Heatwave Sports, and you could download it afterwards. Because these teams now have just that insurmountable obstacle taken away from them. The teams in front of them, 2 5s, a 4, and a 9, all of them, in a very realistic way, have a chance to win this thing. All of them. If Florida Atlantic wins, they are the 9 seed. A 30-win team going in, and yeah, they were completely underseeded, we know that. But a 30-win team going in, going for their, 34th, 35th win in a row, or 35th win on the year, 35-3 they could be. Florida Atlantic, as a 9 seed, steals this tournament, steals every headline. They are the champions. The biggest number seed to ever win a championship was number 8, North Carolina. So this would be the biggest seed in history to ever win a championship. FAU should be the story anyway, but FAU will absolutely be the story. Forget about 1 against 16. Forget about 2 against 15. Forget about no number ones. FAU will steal every single spotlight, and they deserve to. They will have bigger than St. Peter's, bigger than any Roy Butler, any of them. FAU will be the biggest story, very potentially in the history of college basketball as far as the Cinderella. They are the biggest Cinderella ever if they win. But if they don't, you have 2 5s and a 4. Let's go to the 5s. Miami comes from a weak ACC this year, right? Jim Larinaga, everyone's rooting for him, even on the CBS Sports crew. They said, we're actually rooting for him. This will be a swan song for him that I wouldn't be surprised if he walked away afterwards. Miami comes from a weakened ACC. They come back from a 13-point deficit in the second half against Texas. Jim Laranaga's the story, and Miami becomes the story. Yeah, we'll go back and remember. Yeah, I remember one against 16. I remember no number ones coming in. I remember that Princeton run. Hey, FAU looked good that year. No, this is the year of Miami if they win, and rightfully so. It's not always like that. The team that always wins isn't always the story. Just look at last year. Right? I mean, last year, that was a great finals game, but that's the year of St. Pete's. So you can go back and talk about it. I mentioned Butler a couple of times. I don't even know who won that year. I remember the Butler run, right? So we have that. Then you go, who's the other number 5? San Diego State. From lowly Mountain West Conference, a conference that I cover, like I said, on Fox Sports Las Vegas. I cover it all the time. I didn't believe they deserved 4 teams. They looked atrocious. The other teams that got in, San Diego State has consistently been a top 25 team over the last decade or so. They've consistently been there. They just can't get over the hump, can't get over the hump, can't get over the hump. Boom, they're over the hump. And look at what they're doing. They're going out there and they have a legitimate chance to win the championship. This is a real chance to win the championship. The Mountain West getting their first championship ever. Now, you can tell me that UNLV, it wasn't officially the Mountain West. It was a different kind of thing. No. San Diego State, who has been the class of the conference for a long time, puts that conference on the map. It is an underrated conference. It is a conference that all of a sudden has that cream rise to the top. It is a conference that nobody talks about. Well, here you go, Mountain West. Here you go. It's the story of San Diego State. And what if the 4 seed wins? What about UConn? The UConn Huskies, who did not win their conference, did not win their conference tournament, still had great odds. And people looked at them at number 4. You guys could go back to the video that I did when I was walking on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. I told you I was all over UConn, right? I gave out UConn before the tournament. I love them. You could get them at 15-1 before the tournament to win it all. I love this UConn team. And not only is UConn winning, they're absolutely decimating teams and they're absolutely destroying teams. But this will become, again, the year of UConn. The Hurley story, UConn getting back on top. The Big East has had a phenomenal run, something else that we talked about. And I said I love the Big East. Yeah, the Big East had a phenomenal run, and I think Creighton should be here. Xavier did really well. So you look at what UConn can do. And again, while this year is going to be remembered for the 116, this year will be remembered for the Princeton run. It will be remembered for all the number 1s going home. It will be remembered one way or the other for FAU's great run. But any of these teams that win do something that seems obvious, but it isn't always obvious. And that is they capture the story. And I love to see that about college basketball. There's a lot of times, and I go back to, like I said last year, where you remember the champion, but it's the year of. And it's the year of somebody else. And it's the year of Davidson. Or it's the year of this smaller school. Well, all of these schools are seeded 4, 5, 5, and 9. And you look at this and you go, it's going to be the year of that champion, superseding all the other stories. That's kind of cool. All right, guys, it's going to do it for me. Make sure you comment and like below. I'm going to be doing a couple other videos this week, so please go check it out, including my Major League Baseball preview. Have a very good day, everybody.